In the world of cybercrime and digital freedom, few names evoke as much controversy as Adrian Lamo, a man once celebrated as a brilliant hacker and later condemned as a betrayer. Born on February 20th, 1981, in Boston, Massachusetts, Adrian Lamo was an intelligent but restless child. His family moved frequently, and Adrian never seemed to fit in. By his teenage years, he had already discovered the vast, unregulated world of the internet, a place where he could be anonymous, powerful, and in control. The rise of the homeless hacker. In his late teens and early 20s, Lamo began to make a name for himself online. He wasn't hacking for money, at least not at first. Instead, he was obsessed with exploring networks, learning how systems worked, and exposing their weaknesses. He believed that by breaking into corporate systems, he was doing companies a favor, pointing out flaws before malicious hackers could exploit them. But Adrian wasn't your typical hacker. He didn't operate from a high-tech command center or a quiet suburban bedroom. For much of his early hacking career, he was homeless, traveling the country by bus, crashing at friends' places, and using public libraries and internet cafes to connect to the web. This earned him the nickname, the homeless hacker. Despite his lack of a permanent address, Lamo managed to break into some of the biggest corporate networks in the world. High-profile hacks. Between 2001 and 2003, Adrian Lamo infiltrated companies like Yahoo, the New York Times, Microsoft, AOL, Bank of America. One of his most famous hacks was breaking into the New York Times intranet. He gained access to their internal systems, added himself to their expert source database, and even used a LexisNexis account reserved for staff research. Afterward, he faxed the New York Times a list of the vulnerabilities he'd discovered, claiming his intentions were good. But not everyone saw it that way. Legal trouble and arrest. In 2003, the FBI finally caught up with Adrian Lamo. He was charged with computer crimes related to his unauthorized access to the New York Times and other networks. In 2004, Lamo pleaded guilty to one felony count of computer crime. He was sentenced to 6 months of home detention, 2 years of probation, a fine of $65,000. Compared to other hackers, his sentence was relatively light, perhaps because he had cooperated and claimed he never intended to cause harm. But the plea deal marked the end of his hero hacker image. After the sentencing, Lamo largely disappeared from the hacking scene until 2010, when he made headlines again for a very different reason: the Manning controversy. In early 2010, Adrian Lamo was contacted by Chelsea Manning, then known as Bradley Manning, a 22-year-old U.S. Army intelligence analyst who was stationed in Iraq. Over a series of online chats, Manning confided in Lamo, revealing that they had leaked hundreds of thousands of classified documents to WikiLeaks. These included diplomatic cables, war logs from Afghanistan and Iraq, the now infamous collateral murder video showing a U.S. military helicopter killing civilians in Baghdad. Manning trusted Lamo, thinking he was a fellow outsider who would understand. But instead, Lamo made a decision that shocked the hacker community. He turned Manning in to U.S. authorities. Lamo claimed he had no choice, that the information Manning had leaked could put lives at risk. He said it wasn't about politics, but about protecting people. Others saw it differently. To many in the hacking and transparency communities, Adrian Lamo was a traitor. They viewed his actions as a betrayal of hacker ethics and whistleblower protection. Overnight, he went from being a misunderstood genius to a pariah in the very community that once admired him. Life after the Manning incident. After the incident, Lamo received death threats, was ostracized, and became even more of a recluse. He struggled with mental health issues and substance abuse. He spoke openly about being bipolar and feeling isolated. In interviews, he defended his decision to report Manning, saying, "I believe in right and wrong." Manning crossed the line, but it was clear that the decision had taken a heavy toll on him. Over the next few years, Adrian lived quietly, avoiding the public eye. Occasionally, he would surface online, posting thoughts on cybersecurity, politics, or personal struggles. A mysterious death. On March 14, 2018, Adrian Lamo was found dead in an apartment in Wichita, Kansas. He was only 37 years old. No cause of death was immediately released, but officials later stated it was likely due to complications related to drug use and health issues. Friends reported that he had been dealing with serious physical and emotional pain in the years leading up to his death. His passing brought a strange silence to one of the most divisive figures in modern hacking history. Legacy: hero, villain, or victim? The story of Adrian Lamo is filled with contradiction. To some, he was a brilliant hacker who used his skills for good. To others, he was a narcissist who betrayed one of the biggest whistleblowers of our time. And to many, he was simply a troubled man, caught between ethics, law, and loneliness. In the end, Adrian Lamo lived and died as an outsider, a man whose greatest gift may also have been his greatest curse. His story reminds us that in the digital world, the lines between hero and villain, freedom and danger, are often blurred.